Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
You are watching Sound Candy Talk live.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another amazing episode, another amazing moment. The principle remains Kamadawa still remains Shadizo, and I want to welcome you all for this amazing episode of today, whereby we'll be having a conversation. Some will be triggering, some will be adding up, but until the time. So please, I invite you to come inside the show so that we can have the conversation as early as possible so that we don't delay beginning blame one another that we didn't show up early, know what happened. Mapema and your best, that's our principle remains. So I want to welcome you all for another amazing open political forum show, whereby we'll be checking up the updates of the day. And one of the updates of the day is about the union and the civil servants complaining about the leadership. That's one of the headlines matters aired, which is on our desk tonight. Also, we will be checking also more details towards also other issues that have been raised up the doctors today, head Amanda in Nairobi, and also let's check out other things that raised up if in the political world and also in the breaking news of the day. So today I'll divide our show into 2 segments, and whereby the first segment we'll check up the updates of the day, and then the second segment will roll up deeply to analyze of the day's politics and what has happened during the day inside the politics. So I welcome you, come so that we can have this conversation. But before we roll down, let me play the video of the day, and then we'll go back to the updates of the day.
The Kenya National Civil Society Centre says Kenyans made their beds by voting for their leaders of choice in the 2022 elections, and they must now lay in it. The civil society group says the working agreement between President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga pulled the country from the brink of anarchy and has termed the deal a vehicle for redeeming the nation. The executive director, Suba Churchill, has taken issue with Kenyans opposed to the broad-based government, saying they had a chance to elect leaders of their choice and that they should embrace the consequences of being under the leadership of those they chose.
People actually are really complaining out here about betrayal, that Mr. Raila Odinga has betrayed the country. Every president who has been there before, and even the sitting one, they have already seen that he has something. It's good we support the broad-based government, and give them time. Give them time to work.
Kenyans, consistently go to the polls and vote in those that we prefer to criticize as soon as they are in office, and leave out those that we think should come to our rescue as soon as the elections are concluded. And so we are telling Kenyans to stop this hypocrisy. Stop the hypocrisy of blaming those that you never gave any responsibility and making those that you gave responsibility appear as if they were angels.
That is one of the updates of the day and the major video of the day, where we'll be checking about the politics inside the deeply. But before we check about that, pull up, let us rewind back and come back again. And so as we coming back again, we want to check out number one of the thing that this is the cost of employment, and some people are beginning to make TikTok to go on and on. And let us check. But today we have seen one of the chiefs that went viral or has been seen on the internet, and then they are saying that the only thing that he does, he uses TikTok to educate the youth from drugs and also to take the information to the society. So this is the chief that decided to take another dimension. Let us check about the story of this chief, and then you'll tell me your views even on the comment section. People in the comment section, I welcome you. Please welcome somebody. The number of people who are watching is poor, is still low. So invite somebody to watch, invite somebody to be part and parcel of this. And if you want to join up the show, the link is on the comment section already. Click it, let's stimulate, configure your camera, configure your audio, and then you'll find yourselves at the studio so that we can have the conversation while you are contributing it towards inside the studio. Let's check out the story of this chief, and then you're gonna roll down.
Digital platforms are reshaping how communities engage. A chief in Baringo has taken the initiative to embrace technology in a way that not only entertains but also educates. Felix Chesire, an assistant chief, has earned the name TikTok Chief for his innovative use of the popular platform to address social vices like illicit brews and drug addiction. Marianne Nyambura reports.
Kipcherere Sub-County Assistant Chief Felix Chesire has become a TikTok sensation. His comical posts on his TikTok handle, Soy Comedy, has earned him a following of 55,000 people on the social platform. The Assistant Chief and two youth, Vincent Chesang and Caleb Kiplagat, are using the platform to raise awareness on substance abuse through comedy.
At least imeenda beyond Kipcherere sub-location to Baringo na nzima na hata Kenya nzima. Na hata mambo ya vijana at least wameona baada ya kuelimisha kuhusu disadvantages ya drugs, at least vijana wamebadilika. Pia nimehusisha mambo ya wamama, mambo ya maisha, mambo hata ya health.
Chief wetu alikuja akasumbukana na sisi kitambo, hatukuwa tunasikia, so ikafika tu wakati chief akatuongelesha, akatupata kando, ndio akatupea madhara yake.
Their skits have resonated with a large audience, more so the Gen Z generation.
The only way yenye unaweza pata kila mtu kwa hii society ya sahi ni simu. Hapo awali nikiita parasa, wasee ndio na wamama ndio walikuwa wanakuja parasa. Vijana mara wakuje, unaweza ona wako kwa veranda huko wanaangalia tu simu. So hiyo kitu ikanikujia, tukaongea na hao wasee, tukaangalia hiyo mambo ya TikTok.
Ameelimisha wamama hapa, ukiangalia hata sasa tukiongea kuna wamama wenye wako kwa groups ya wamama. Wameunganisha wamama, wameingia groups mpaka wameomba pesa.
Marianne Nyambura, Citizen TV.
That's how things are happening. Things are happening so fast, but we will be checking all the updates and all the matters of the day. I see Bernard is with us inside the studio, so I still welcome you, everyone. Please feel free, be part and parcel of this, so that we can have the conversation together and we can have the talk together, because we are here to speak and we are here to bring a solution to every part. We have seen this chief decided to use TikTok to bring dynamics to this change inside inside to his village or to the people or where he stays, and he decided to use TikTok. So, and then you are seeing the positive impact of TikTok that it make the youth to hear much from the chief, and also to listen, or to know where chiefs want them to speak, or what chief is spreading all about. I would like to, we are so welcoming Bernard to chief to say hi to us, to introduce you to open the floor. I would like to also contribute towards that. How does he feel on about the matters of leaders using the like SHA to spread out, using TikTok to spread out the message where it's bring a positive impact to the society? Bernard, how are you? Hello? Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, how is everyone? I believe all you're well. It's a new day with our usual Kenya problem. Sorry?
We can hear you. Go on, go on.
I'm fine, thank you, everyone. And well, our country is still in a mess, and as Kenyans, we must think again in terms of the lasting solution to our perennial problems cannot come with one strike of a pen, but we should gradually arm ourselves into ensuring that we don't get lost completely. There's no doubt that we have lost the healthcare, we have lost education, we have lost agriculture. I think key sectors in the country are not on the right track. And that's why everybody's at pain, and the situation doesn't seem to improve. And so as people, we need to relook at this entire scenario and devise a means of getting a permanent solution. One of it is introduce a systematic approach towards establishing this lasting solution. Like, the country is divided into different counties, and we use those counties divided into sub-counties. And we use those geographical small areas to begin to deal with these problems one after the other than waiting for the central government to solve everything in the country. For example, can we get one county to be wherever health-wise secure, and then food secure? Then we add on another sub-county. Like that, eventually we get there. But if everything is waited for from Kasongo's office, I don't think anything new is coming from there other than another promise that he's going to disapprove all his doubters by, I don't know which miracles he intends to perform. But from the look of things, Zakaya ameshindwa na kazi, na kwa sababu haamini katika kujenga Kenya ili Kenya ijilinde. Anaamini kwamba anahitaji kuwa msaada wa Kenya. Yaani yeye ndio Papa Christmas, anatembea nyumba kwa nyumba akigawa zawadi. Na kuna vile nchi inaweza kuwa ya kujitegemea ikitegemea mtu. Nchi inakuwa tu ya kujitegemea ikijitegemea, na katika kujitegemea inahitaji kuwa na inaitwa uzalishaji, that being productive. So when our resources are put to good use and are able to be marketed, and then they make profit, that's when the country is growing. But if we are waiting for some man somewhere to come and give us this, give us the road, give us the classroom, give us the fertilizer, then give us the so-called volunteer nurses who are roaming from house to house, checking people's temperature, I think we are in a mess if we go back to that suggestion of William Ruto's approach. The really solution is it has to be homegrown, and it has to be among us. The thieves are among us, so are the askaris, and so are the people that seek the truth. And so if we all, like Mother Teresa said, the world will be clean if everybody swept their doorstep. If we all got back to our doorstep and began to do the sweeping and began to do the cleaning up, began to do the forging the way forward by solving our one after the other problems, we will get to a better place. But this waiting from central government, I don't think there's anything new forthcoming other than a new promise, a new swearing in, or rather a new, guarantee, another presser, then another presser, a presser that forever covers up the other pressure. And before you know it, 2027 is here, and they are asking for another opportunity to waste the Kenyan livelihood. So kwangu mimi madaktari kuwa kwa mgomo ni swala ambalo stahili kusikilizwa. I mean, it is not supposed to be happening at this time and age. Healthcare is a responsibility that cannot be compromised and should not be compromised. Why should the MPs be paid? Senators are paid, governors are paid, and doctors cannot be paid? I mean, where are our priorities? People who sit and talk and take sitting allowance, or people who take care of the healthcare of the people of Kenya? So until we get our priorities right as a country, we continue suffering until tuamke, wakati tutaanza kutekeleza wajibu wetu kama Wakenya wazalendo wanaotaka nchi ambayo ni ya afya, nchi ambayo ni ya kujitegemea, ambayo inafanikiwa kutokana na uongozi unaofaa, basi tutapona. Niachia.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. I have brought about the issue of health. Let us exhaust it on it because you've already brought it on the desk, and I want to speak it more on it. But I want to bring other conversation also towards it. But before we roll that, I just want to remind you, please invite somebody to watch with. Don't watch alone. The number of people watching is so low. Invite somebody, please. Don't just watch alone. And also, if you're watching, like the show and also vote or participate in the poll question. It will be good. Let us check out this video of what happened in Bernard, speaking a lot about maandamano in Nairobi today of the doctors, and then we will continue moving on swiftly.
Healthcare workers took to the streets in a bold protest, demanding fair treatment and job security. Led by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, doctors marched to SHA headquarters, the Ministry of Health and Parliament, delivering a petition warning of a nationwide strike if interns' salaries were cut. Joining them, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers pushed for the permanent employment of more than 8,500 UHC workers who have been on contracts for 5 years. Willie Lusige reports.
The march started at Kenyatta National Hospital. It moved to SHA headquarters in Upper Hill, to the Ministry of Health, and then to the National Assembly. Patriotic songs echoed through the air as doctors under the KMPDU union voiced their anger over what they described as a government scheme to slash the salaries of medical interns from more than Kenya shillings 200,000 to Kenya shillings 70,000.
CBA is sacrosanct, and once it is agreed, it can't be changed. They tried to change it last year for the interns. We stopped them. They're again trying to change it this year. We will not allow it. We cannot allow.
Their message was clear: no pay cuts, no compromise.
This is just the beginning of protest. We will have another protest in the next month. We will have a strike notice in May, actually on 9th of May, if these matters are not resolved, because no doctor will give up. And the time for actions will be now. We should all be ready.
Beyond their fight for fair wages, the union submitted complaints at the SHA headquarters, highlighting the failure of the health insurance scheme and the hardship doctors endured when seeking treatment. They claimed SHA had failed to settle medical bills, resulting in some doctors being detained in hospitals.
We have a doctor who died last week at Kenyatta. The bill was 289,000. Social Health Authority only paid 28,000. So today we have demonstrated and expressed that SHA is not working. It is only working for political leaders. It's only working for cabinet secretaries.
It wasn't just doctors who were outraged. The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, KUCO, also took to the streets. They too marched to Parliament demanding justice, not for themselves, but for more than 8,500 community health workers, UHC, who have been trapped in contract jobs for 5 years. Their message: temporary contracts for essential workers are illegal and unjust.
5 years is too long to be on a contract that we are earning a quarter salary, and an illegal contract that was supposed to have ended within the last 3 years. 4.5 billion is not a lot of money to help 8,571 UHC to be absorbed on permanent and pensionable terms.
Not been paid their graduate for 5 years, and they are demanding for the same, and as well as statutory deductions which are not being remitted by the Ministry of Health.
As doctors insist that they will not allow any alteration on the 2017 CBA on payment of doctors in turn, they have also expressed their frustration when they seek treatment under SHA, vowing that if the government does not intervene come May 19th, they will down their tools. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Parliament, Nairobi.
That's how things are on the ground, and that's how things are happening. It is so bad when we see things like this. So we need to wake up. We need to bring up a wake-up call, because this is serious, or this is getting out of hand. And this is one of the things that Bernard is speaking of, because it is so serious, and it is so painful. I want to play also one video so that we can continue having the conversation. It's also from the health story about the health. Let us watch out this so that we know where the health or the matter of the health is going on. And all of this just happened within the...
The Ministry of Health faced tough scrutiny over a 98% increase in its proposed 2025-26 budget, as outlined in the budget policy statement. Health CS Deborah Baraza and her permanent secretaries appeared before the Senate Health Committee to justify their request. As Emily Chebet reports, senators directed the ministry to prioritize the absorption of striking UHC staff and on permanent and pensionable terms.
Two state departments under the Ministry of Health appeared before the Senator Jackson Mandago-led committee to defend their revised budget estimates, which have surged by over 90% compared to the 2024-2025 budget. The Medical Services State Department under PS Harry Kimtai says while they require 465 billion, they have only been allocated 172 billion Kenya shillings.
This comprises of 145.1 billion in recurrent and Kenya shillings 27.5 billion in development. The overall funding gap to the State Department share, which of enumerated here, stands at Kenya shillings 254.2 billion. Chair, I think that is what we expect if we are to operate optimally with everything that we need to undertake.
Previously, it was the budget of SHA was not included in our budget. It was an AGA. They were not getting a portion. They were not in our budget. They have been domesticated for the first time in the budget. So that brought a growth of 76 billion.
The committee questioned the sharp increase in the request in the ministry's budget, noting that in the previous financial year, they received 91 billion Kenya shillings. Senators questioned why certain ministry functions remained national instead of being devolved to counties.
Your argument is that you have so many presidential functions, but those functions are actually not your constitutional obligation. They are for county governments. Why not send that money to county government for them to be able to build their health facilities?
The list you have submitted as a presidential directive is nowhere in the budget. And therefore, as is, you have no intention of actually actualizing.
The State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards struggled to justify an additional 652 million Kenya shillings, citing it as a funding for community health promoters' salaries.
Community health promoters at the rate of 2,500 each, and additional for administration.
So if my mathematics is right, in a year it's 30,000 shillings. If you multiply 30,000 by 8,000 additional workers, gives you 240 million. So the administrative cost to it is more than 100%. Because then if you say 652 minus 240, you get almost 400 million for administrative to administer 8,000 workers.
The ministry struggles to address the UHC strike, as senators questioned why some staff were made permanent and pensionable, while others remained on temporary contracts despite having identical COVID-19 hires.
We want to see the budget of the next financial year. Money for confirmation of UHC staff. We are not willing to take anything less than that.
The reason we have not been able to pay is when we always say we are discussing and we are not putting on the budget, then it means we are not willing. We are just playing games with the health workers.
Even as the Ministry of Health defended their budget estimates, the committee took them to task to explain what they have termed as wastage and misplaced priorities. The Mandago-led committee wants the Ministry of Health to absorb all the UHC staff under permanent and pensionable. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV at the Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
These are how things are on the ground, and these are how serious things are working. So I just want to remind you, like, please invite somebody to join and be part and parcel of this so that we can have the conversation together. Don't wait until late so that you want to come up, you want to stay up, you want to scramble, you say like the time is getting out, but we need you to come and be part and parcel of this. So I welcome you all. Let us join up and let us have the conversation. Bernard, you have seen what has happened, and you have seen also the other report from the SHA team, and also the minister and also not from the minister, also from the Department of Health, whereby they're saying the budget that they have been working, or the budget is now being adjusted, and because of 1, 2, 3, or it's so low. So what can you speak about that? Because you already speak that if the government should first make sure that people get treatment so that even they can pay the MPs, but not paying people who are going to sit down and just wait there as Mwananchi suffers because of lack of medication. So what can you say on the budget of the medical?
What's happening is unforgivable. Kenya is not 2 years old. Kenya is 61 years old. That in itself means we are no longer guessing. There's a difference between newlyweds when they have gotten their first child and the grandfather of that child or the grandmother of that child. The people who have raised children know how to handle children. They will not be second guessing. They will not be not sure of the temperature of the milk or the temperature of the water. What we are having right now is a games of running away from responsibility. Those people sitting in those committees and claiming this and that, I don't think they have even those figures right. Figures in terms of how many Kenyans do we have in which county, how many access medical care, and how much of the medical equipment is required in each and every place, satisfactory to address the issue of healthcare in all places. I think in that budget is just a vehicle for stealing, a vehicle for looting. Look at the way the minister and the PS are responding to questions, that they have a budget of 600 million, and of the 600 million, 400 is for administrative purposes. Only 200 is for paying salaries. Look at the way we have things in upside down. I think as a country we need a reboot, and I think we can easily settle this and handle it if we went one item at a time. One item at a time. Let's address healthcare issues conclusively. Then go to education, settle it conclusively. Go to agriculture, settle it conclusively. Other than trying to do all these things at the same time, and in the process, we have these fictitious figures of, demanding this from Exchequer and demanding this from Treasury, demanding this from Treasury. I mean, if healthcare is devolved, let the governors worry about it. Let the central government relinquish everything as far as healthcare is concerned. The building of hospitals, the staffing of hospitals, the stocking of hospitals, let it become a county responsibility, so that if there is a problem in Kisumu, we go and hold the governor responsible. There's a healthcare problem in Lamu, we do the same. Why is the central government releasing these devolved functions bit by bit, and they are quickly, devolving a responsibility, but not the money. And so these lucrative contracts that they are hanging on and they don't want to let go, it's part and parcel of the corruption that has held this country hostage. And so as a people, we just need to have a rethink, and that rethink requires that we stop buying into the fallacy that there is a budget and this budget is meant for taking care of the health of the health of the Kenyans. This budget is just a vehicle for looting and should be rejected from the word go. We need doctors, we need nurses, we need hospitals, we need medicine in those hospitals. That is what is important. Not all this issue of duplicating responsibility. This issue called health, community health, wherever, community health workers. It was Ruto's imagination. Okay, now it has generated another budget. That is where all this, wherever 600 million is going. And then at that time, you have people roaming around who don't have medics background. They have not studied medicine. They are roaming around taking people's wherever body temperature and issuing Panadol. While the doctors and the clinic officers and the nurses are not being paid. They are on strike. What kind of government is this? What kind of people are we? What are we becoming as a society that we enjoy seeing people sick and without care, yet we continue, defending and protecting an administration that has absolutely failed in terms of addressing the plight of Kenyans. So as a people, we have a lot that needs to be done, and so fast. And one is, let us begin by agreeing. Is healthcare devolved? If it's devolved, let it be devolved 100%. Tuache maneno ya sema some services are still at the central government. If the central government wants to be in charge of paying doctors, let that alone be their responsibility. They must ensure that the salary for the doctors is there. But every other thing, buying of medicine, building of hospitals, and ensuring that each and every sub-county has at least a hospital where people can be attended to, and those hospitals are fully stocked with medicine for the welfare of Kenyans. We don't need that SHA thing. That SHA insurance is part of the conduit for stealing and robbing. We don't need it. All we need is functioning hospitals, hospitals with doctors, and hospitals with medicine. We don't need the SHA in between. The SHA is an insurance scheme. It's not a provider of health care. So if Ruto wants to pay for the people's health care, let him pay for everything by what? Paying the doctors, paying the nurses, and ensuring that the hospitals are stocked with enough medicine to address the plight of Kenyans. But this SHA thing it smells bad. It is full of debt in terms of many Kenyans have lost their lives waiting for SHA to come on. Oh, SHA is down. Oh, SHA cannot reflect your name and all that. We are losing lives every day because of SHA. Let us stop the SHA thing. Let us be responsible for one. And those senators, those members of parliament, those people that are supposed to defend the people, let them rise up and do the right thing. Wache history ya kuangazia ati wanaangalia kwa budget na kuuliza hii pesa ni ya nini na hii ni ya nini. Weke pesa itumike kulingana na katiba, of course. Then katika hiyo katiba iwe kama ni treasury inalipa hizo bills, treasury ilipe bills. Si yet treasury distribute pesa watu walipe bills. If the treasury is supposed to pay the bills, let treasury pay the bills. KEMSA distributes the medicine, KEMSA gets the check from the exchequer. The counties distribute whatever they distribute, let the exchequer pay. But this issue of distributing money around and looking for which contracts to eat from is what is killing this country. So as a country, we are doing very poorly. At 61, we should be an example to the rest of their other younger countries like Southern Sudan and of course, the smaller countries. that are supposed to look up to us as big brother, but we are behaving worse than the last born. Why? So as Kenyans, let's rise up and do the right thing, and that is demand leadership that makes sense, not this confusion that is out to play with the livelihood of Kenyans.
I am very grateful to see you here.
Yes, I think I rested there.
Okay, you'll speak a lot on matters of if the government is supposed to handle the money, is supposed to give to the county government so that the county government will be responsible. But we have seen even today the county government is still asking for 66 billion so that they can pay up the gap. So what is the money that they are asking, and how should they handle the hospital? Because if they can't handle just simple the hospital bills and the nurses and everything, why do they require another float of money or addition of money towards they are getting?
I think the really problem with the exchequer is the extension of the executive in the exchequer. We will get a solution to the distribution of resources and money to counties the moment we chase the executive from treasury. Whoever made it that the treasury should the treasury should be at the mercy of the executive and the treasury should do the biddings of the executive is the one who messed up the whole thing. And so as we look at this, we need to have that overhaul, the overhaul that ensures that the distribution of resources and the making sure that whatever that the Kenyan need is done should not be at the mercy of executive. Executive should get its budget supplied for by treasury, just like any other entity. Not that the executive has an upper hand as the judiciary waits for treasury, the parliament waits for treasury, the county government waits for treasury, but the executive doesn't wait for anything. They can walk in and walk out with 1.3 billion, 103 billion, I mean, a trillion. I mean, without trace, without anybody asking. So I think the Okiomtata issue of going to court to ensure that treasury is cut and made independent of the executive, that thing is it need to be done like yesterday. Then when that is done, treasury will have an ample time to do the right thing, which is what is meant for the counties is released to the counties. The counties don't need to ask. The counties don't need even to say how much is supposed to be done. Every country functions on a specific budget. That budget is supposed to be made on specific dates. And when you have limited resources, you redistribute all those resources in such a way that there will be a systematic way of ensuring that no part of the country or no part of the functioning of the government is deprived of what should be. Meaning, while we are paying doctors and we should be looking for the money for the teachers, and while we are paying teachers, the money for the nurses should be ready and all that. So that when it's time for salaries, the money for salaries must be ready before that time for salaries. The money for the county should be ready before that time for that particular aspect of operations. What we are witnessing right now is a wastage spree of the executive. Look at the money that is being wasted on the roads. Look at the money that is being wasted on mobilization of people to go and scratch the ego of William Ruto. I mean, it's uncalled for. So we waste the money on the road. We waste the money on unnecessary so-called interdenominational prayers, mobilization, or the deputy president is in Garissa, we mobilize. The president is in Vihiga, we mobilize. The president wants to greet people in Kibera, we mobilize. We are spending too much money on nothing, on what doesn't matter, and leaving what mostly matters out. And so if we don't tighten the loopholes, especially at the treasury, and the interference of the executive at treasury, we will continue to suffer. What I believe is that this country is rich enough to take care of everything that is needed. We don't even need foreign aid. We don't need those loans. If only our minerals will be put to use, our resources will be put to use, and the Kenyan people will have a conducive environment to work with their own hands, we can foot the bills of this country without needing any help from anywhere. The really problem in this country is the corruption that is attached on each and every service that the government offers. That they want to supply medicine, they put their uncle there, their cousin there, they eat from there. Want to supply mosquito nets, they put their uncle there, their sister there, their auntie there to eat from there. All that needs to be cleaned up. And you will notice the expenditure is not going to be that high. Okay, the mosquito net that is for 500, the government buys at 5,000. I mean, who does that? And you still want to manage and handle the aspect of the securing of the healthcare of the people when you are making money with their blood, making money with their pain, making money with their afflictions. This is wrong. So counties should not be asking for the executive to release the money. Treasury should deal directly with counties, and the executive should be chased from Treasury. The executive should be chased from Treasury if they are given their budget. If they exhaust their budget, let them do their rallies, let them do their mobilization at their own expense. Not that there is an inexhaustible drawing for the executive to waste the money around. They paint the State House blue this way. They want to turn it into white. The other day, they remove the Cabinet, they bring it back. They remove the tarmac, they bring it back. All that is wastage because they have seen where the well of the money is, and they can access that well of the money without being questioned. The Parliament needs to rise up and do the right thing. The Senate needs to rise up and do the right thing, and that is rescue the Treasury from the interference by the executive. Let the executive be given. They want 600 million. Let them be given. It's 600 billion they are given. That is your budget for the whole year. If you're going to entertain pastors, do it. If you want to entertain elders, do it. If you want to entertain your uncles, do it. But this must last you what? A whole year. That way we're going to have some discipline and we're going to have some change that is going to take care of the welfare of Kenyans. But this other one of people have free access to Treasury to do anything they want, and then others have to wait, and others have to be put on hold. It's uncalled for. It's unethical. It's unbecoming, and we should not encourage it at all. Thank you.
Ben, before we continue, I'm sorry for cutting you, but I wanted to check out this so that you can continue as knowing, as we people know what has happened or why how much has been demanded could be added from the government. Let us watch out this.
The president assented a 66 billion shilling supplementary appropriations bill into law aimed at plugging critical financing gaps and steering key reforms. The education and health sectors are the biggest beneficiaries, with additional allocation of resources that will sort out key areas that have been the cause of widespread protests by practitioners in both sectors. Jimmy Mbogo reports.
The education sector has emerged as a major beneficiary of the second supplementary budget, receiving an allocation of 49.1 billion shillings. Of this, the Teacher Service Commission will receive an additional 18 billion shillings to cater to, among others, teachers' promotion and enrollment shortfalls. University education is set to receive 16 billion shillings allocation, out of which 4.2 billion shillings will cater to the implementation of university collective bargaining agreements. TVETs and the school feeding program will see an allocation of 8 billion shillings and 600 million shillings respectively.
There is also money for Kenya Primary Equity.
Other beneficiaries include the health sector, which has been allocated a total of 13.7 billion shillings, out of which the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, will receive a recapitalization of 1.5 billion shillings. To promote the pillars of universal health coverage, the Primary Healthcare Fund will receive a seed capital of 3 billion shillings. The Emergency Chronic and Critical Illnesses Fund has also been allocated 3 billion shillings, while healthcare interns will benefit from a 1.5 billion shillings stipend allocation. To further strengthen the healthcare system in the country, the government has allocated 1 billion shillings to the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospitals for personnel emolument, while the Kenyatta National Hospital will receive 1.7 billion shillings in appropriation in aid, even as the Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Research Hospital is expected to receive 1.4 billion shillings. Additionally, the operationalization of the primary healthcare network is expected to cost the government at least 600 million shillings. Jimmy Bogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, I hope Bernard, you have seen what is going on, and I hope you have seen what's happening, because that's what's going on. See, they are on a pesa, but yet the money that is being given out is not reaching to the wananchi. It's not getting in the hand of the wananchi. The problem that wananchi are facing, they are still on and on and on.
It's still the same game. It's still the same game. Ruto wants to appear to be the one giving. Okay, he is the one giving. It's not government operating, and that is where the problem arises. The government is supposed to work like a system. A system meaning one thing leads to another. As long as there is a specific budget, how much for education, how much for healthcare, how much for supporting of the farmers and things like that. Those things need to happen without necessarily the president's interference or the president's authorization. He's not supposed to authorize anything. As long as as soon as the parliament has authorized, we have this money for this money for this, then it becomes the responsibility of treasury to make sure that that money is taken to the various sectors where there has to be the president allowing or the president signing or the president allocating. That is where the whole problem arises, where one head is being used to do everything, which it's not balancing. So we take care of the education, and then by the time we are through with education, healthcare is empty. We now run there to do. So we are doing from crisis to crisis, not by design. A government is run by design. Run by design meaning you have a systematic way of, we are collecting these taxes. These taxes are coming in at this rate. The expenditure needs to be at this rate. What are the most urgent things to be catered for first, and then most important ones, and then what can wait, what can be deprived, so that we ensure that this happens. What is going on can only precipitate into a crisis, simply because this one individual is looking at the situation from his political angle. So he's ensuring that there's money for universities to get lecturers back to the classrooms or lecture halls, and then it will now say that Ruto has helped the wherever the lecturers to go back to class, or Ruto has made sure that the university education is taking place, or Ruto has ensured that this and that is happening. That is not how a government works. The government should work with or without the president. Or I mean, the president's input is to head the affairs, not to do the micro work of day-to-day activities of the operations. We have Ministry of Treasury. We have the Treasury itself. We have the Ministry of Education and higher education and all those things. What are these ministers doing if Ruto is the one to allocate 2 billion for what, another 6 billion for what, another 6 billion for? I mean, this is a mess, and this mess cannot be stopped until the right way of doing things is embraced. What is the right way of doing things? Let the treasury do the job without the interference of Ruto, without the interference of the executive. Let the ministries do their work, so that if education fails, we will hold the Minister for Education accountable. But if you have usurped the authority of the Minister for Education, you have usurped the authority of the Minister for Healthcare. I mean, when something goes wrong with healthcare, why should we blame the minister if the president is the one doing it? So there is no need of us having ministers. If Ruto wants to run the show and he's able to contain all that, let him be the minister, let him be the president, let him be the parliament, let him be the judiciary, run everything and see how far he will go. But for now, we should demand that the operation of the law should be effected and things should be done in order and in decency, whereby we respect every other's person's whatever responsibilities. We respect the treasury to do the right thing. We respect the army to do the right thing, the police to do the right thing. Not this constant interference of trying to appear to be benevolent and to be the kindest and generous president. We don't need a generous president. We need somebody just to preside over the operations of the government, whereby those government systems are working on their own. They are able to make decisions and prioritize. This money comes in per week. Our bills are due in this week. We must have this money ready by that time. What measures do we put to ensure that this money is around in time? So what Treasury is supposed to be brainstorming and making available. But this constant of withdrawing, we are giving to the lecturers and then we deny nurses. We are giving to the nurses, we deny the doctors. We are giving to the teachers, we are denying the university lecturers. The madness has to stop, the mess has to stop, and that is let Ruto stay in State House and Harambee House and allow Treasury to do the work, allow Parliament to do the work, allow Judiciary to do the work. Constant interference is the source of this crisis. It must stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard, for that contribution. Please, I still remind you, invite somebody to watch with. The number of people who are watching is still low, still low, and it's very bad. So you are just watching alone. You don't want to share the video. Please share the video so that also others can benefit from this conversation. And for those who are joining up the studio, the time is going so fast. So please join up as early as possible because I'll remain with a very short time. We'll be getting out of here. So join up as early as this so that we cannot be left behind or we cannot be left out, because tonight we are bringing up something which is straightening up the nation. So the number of people who are viewing, please at least share for me for 10 people. Please just share for me for 10 people and at least 5 WhatsApp group right now, and then tell them to watch and also they can join up inside the show. As we are rolling up, also I want to take another gear because we have said today I said I divide the show into 2. So as we are winding up the first segment, because we want to enter to the second segment, the first segment, let us end it with the story of a lady who was supposed to be murdered. And let's check out this news. Then you will tell me your views. Also, as we are bringing other participants to speak about it, so that we can close the first segment, so we can engage with the other segment.
The family of Margaret Nduta is holding on to hope after she was spared from a scheduled execution on Monday evening. With a renewed sense of faith, the family gathered for prayers Tuesday, urging the government to step up diplomatic efforts to secure her repatriation to Kenya. Brenda Wanga reports on the family's sigh of relief and their continued fight for her freedom.
At the home of Margaret Nduta, family and friends gather. It has been a tense few days for the family and the community as they waited with bated breath to know the fate of the 37-year-old woman who was staring at execution in Vietnam. Today, a guarded sense of relief can be felt.
Asante sana Mr. President, kwa sababu mtoto wangu hakuuliwa, umlete huku Kenya. Asante sana. Nitafurahi sana na watu wengi watafurahi.
There's a lot of diplomacy and a lot of communication going on, but
best bit of it is that Nduta is not going to be hanged now. There's a lot of talk going on, and very soon the government will give its position once the negotiations are done.
Nduta had been scheduled to be executed on Monday evening by lethal injection for her conviction on drug trafficking charges. She was arrested in 2023 when she arrived at an airport in Vietnam's capital in possession of 2 kilograms of cocaine. Her family maintains she was set up.
Walikuwa wasichana wawili. Nduta akaambiwa wewe ndio utakuwa wa mwisho kutoka. Vile siku yake ilifika ya kutoka, aliniambia Wambo wetu, nimenunuliwa bag, nimeambiwa yangu ni ndogo na pia ni mzee. So akaambiwa, akanunuliwa sasa, akaambiwa toa nguo zako uweke kwa hii bag ingine.
As the clock ticked towards the execution date, the Kenyan government swung into action, seeking a stay of execution or clemency. It appears the efforts led by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have bought Nduta some precious more time. But as the family keeps hope alive that Nduta will escape the death punishment, an area MP says the government needs to tighten the scrutiny and the regulations around employment agencies that allegedly lure unsuspecting Kenyans into lives of crime, but at the same time, they have urged caution.
In Parliament, I'm going to personally take up the matter. And I also raise the matter with the President that we must vet the agencies that are recruiting our children, promising them greener pastures, but when they go the other side, they suffer, they run away from them.
Tafadhali caution mtoto wako na umuonyeshe kwamba akienda hata akitoka iwe anasafiri na nduthi ama na matatu ama anaenda na basi ama anaenda basi na ndege. Tunakuomba umwambie sio vizuri kwenda akishikania na watu wengine kwa barabara, watu ambao hawajui, watu ambao hawakuwa nao katika safari yake.
Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
That's how things mambo inachemuka, ni hivyo tunasema kama Gen Z, mambo inachemuka. That's how things are boiling up, and that's how things are moving on. They are moving so fast, even we can't analyze others because that is so bad. And I've been realizing recently, I've been having the issues with the agencies. Like in just few months back, we had another problem whereby young men were sent out to Dubai, to Qatar, and yet they were not sent by the working visa, they were sent by visiting visa. That's how it was. And then they were promised that we are going to begin even work. And then after reaching there, things change. This is another scenario also, whereby this lady wants to be killed because she has been accused of having drugs, or she has been found with the drugs at the airport. I would like to listen from Bernard first before we bring in Lala. Bernard, can you hear me?
Yes, here we go. Thank you. That case is I know that the Kenyan economy and the Kenyan people are not having a cup of tea with the current economic situation, and this has been going on for a while. But there are limits to how much you can get into looking for money. I think our greed and a quick money approach is one of the things that's contributing to this. I believe people should just be content with what they have and believe God for a better life, other than allowing yourself to get involved with such cases of drug trafficking. You endanger your life for nothing. Like this lady now, she was sent by her masters to go and deliver the package, and now she's the one facing the hangman and not the masters. So as people, please lay a control over your appetite, and don't be deceived that there is some easy money out there that is going to fall on you, or rather you're going to make one sell and make a kill for all the money you need in life. God promises us daily bread. Let us appreciate that daily bread and, of course, live our size per time. The intervention of the government for the rescuing of the lady from execution, it's a welcome idea, but I still insist prevention is better than cure. will not be running up and down right now trying to salvage this if everybody played their role right, and that is refuse to be used to carry things that you don't know what they are. If you know what they are, they know that there are consequences, and some of those consequences will require you to pay with your own life. There was an episode on I think Kiss FM where Mwalimu Kang'ang'i and what is his counterpart Maina again were going through a list of how many Kenyans who have been arrested with the cocaine around the around the globe. And the list seems to be endless. Some in Dubai, some in Qatar, some in wherever, in other places. Now, this, especially when it's involving ladies, madada zetu tafadhali, tuliza boli. Okay, tuliza boli, wacha kutumika katika masuala ambayo yatakuhatarisha maisha yako. Saa hii sasa mama huyu Nduta ako na wasiwasi. Nchi nzima iko na wasiwasi. Mambo haendi vizuri, na hiyo yote inatokana na nini? Uamuzi ambao mtu alifanya binafsi kwenda kutekeleza kitu ambacho hakikubaliki. Tafadhali tuliza boli, fanya kazi na mikono yako. Biblia inasema kula kutokana na jasho lako na uishi size yako part time. Wacha kujiingiza kwa masuala ambayo hayafai. Secondly, nimesikia pia kadi hiyo ya ukabila ikianza kuchezwa na hili swala. Kwa hiyo program ya Maina Kageni na Mwalimu Kang'ang'i wamesema majina mengi ya wale wanaotajwa kuhusika na masuala ya cocaine ni mundu wa nyumba. Hii ya Nduta is it the exception or the what? And so the argument is, hao wengine walifanyiwa nini? Mbona huyu ndiye ambaye serikali sasa imeingilia na inakwenda kushughulikia? Ama kuna mambo ambayo yanahusu huyu ambaye yanahusu serikali hii ambayo Wakenya hawajaambiwa? And all that is speculation and of course trying to cast the net widely. But for me on that issue, if Nduta is rescued to come back to Kenya and serve her sentence from here, the better. But going forward, dada zetu especially, please tujaribu. Najua hali ni ngumu, economy ni mbaya, lakini usitoe uhai wako kwa kwenda kutafuta dola moja tu. Hakuna haja kujiingiza kwa mambo ambayo yatahatarisha maisha yako na yapatie pressure wa wazazi wako bure. Ilete mambo ambayo sasa saa hii picha iko worldwide, dunia nzima inahusika na hili swala. All of it was a personal in the private decision. Now it has become a public issue and the whole world is concerned about it. Please, let's keep within the boundaries, do what we need to do to get where we need to get to. Na jina la Kenya pia linapaswa kuheshimiwa. Wewe kama ni Mkenya, usijiingize masuala ambayo itaonyesha Kenya kuwa mbaya. Najua tuko na shida hata kwa uongozi na lile jina ambalo tunajipatia huku nje, lakini haifai kabisa. Jiheshimu, heshimu wazazi wako, heshimu nchi yako na jiheshimu wewe mwenyewe. Usijiingize kwa masuala ito, nikiuza hizi rolls tu nitakuwa nimepata mamilioni, nitakuja kujenga nyumba. Sasa saa hii Nduta hakuna saa hii anapigania nini? Kupata tu siku moja ya kuishi. Nyumba atajenga saa ngapi? Dola yenyewe iko wapi? So tafadhali, let's think widely, let's be careful. Lastly, as Lala comes in, katika sheria ya usafiri, wale watu wote mmesafiri international, hauruhusiwi kubeba mzigo ambao hujapaka wewe mwenyewe. All planes and all they demand that the person traveling is the person who packs his bag, so that whatever that is found in the bag he should be able to answer for the same. So hili swala tu nilienda nikapewa mzigo nipeleke, ulipewa mzigo na nani? Ulikuwa unamwamini kama nani ndio ukakubali kuubeba? So kama umepewa mzigo wa kubeba, basi ufunguliwe na wewe ukaupack afresh, ndio ujue kwamba hii kitu nimebeba ni vitabu, hii nimebeba ni Biblia, hii nimebeba ni nguo. Lakini suala la wewe kupewa mzigo alafu unabeba kana kwamba ulikuwa umepewa na mama yako umpelekee anti yako, hapana. Let's have some little sense of responsibility, kuona kwamba hivi vitu ninavyosafiri navyo naweza kusema niko na 1, 2, 3 ziko kwa huu mzigo, lakini si eti nilipewa nikabebe. Lazima tupevuke. Asante. Over to you.
I think, Ben, let me listen to Lala. Lala, how are you? Lala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Shadizo, Abari, Bernard, and the rest in the background. I'm Jambo. I want to take a little step further to include all of us in this conversation, all Kenyans. And my reason is simple. When you have a country that has no respect for the law, then you raise citizens that believe that you can get away with anything, including cocaine or whatever it is that's out there, because somebody will buy the system. So we live in a fool's paradise, starting from the president himself, that they've created an atmosphere where Nduta does not believe that she can face anything as long as they have the money. Okay, and that's what is true in Kenya. You can buy the judges, you can buy anything you want, and that is to the detriment of a civil society, because we raise people now in Kenya that all they know is a corrupt system, because that's what we have been trading. And even when we got a chance, when SK Macharia tells us these are the things that have been going on, it's like we are paralyzed. There's nothing we can do. We're just trying to forget that and then try to see if we can move forward with all that inconsistencies and with all those illegality, with all those crimes and evil stuff. We're all piling them, carrying them behind us, and they're weighing us down. And so when we see Nduta, is actually a message to every Kenyan that whatever we are breeding, whatever system we have, is setting a bad example outside here where I am, to the point where the name Kenya is not respected. When I'm hearing a number of people, the number that is arrested out there, of course they know that serious people outside who believe in the law and live by the law, but there's constitution, know Kenya as a place where thugs and thieves and corrupt government exist. And that is sad, because everything that we do in our system seems to have something that everyone is questioning. What is really going on here? What is hard for us to say we want to live by the law? Okay, everyone in the world knows that none of those guys were elected, those leaders, based on what we know. But the question is, where's the judiciary to follow these things out? Where's a system that will come together and say that we are tired of this, we want a new system? Yeah, we can point this girl and say this is what, but you see, if that's the culture you grew up in, and then you're leaving Kenya for the first time, because I'm told this is her first time to get out of the country. She's very gullible. She can carry anything because she doesn't care about, and of course what Bernard stated is important, that we have to check what we are carrying. But remember the culture where she's coming from, and the community that seems to seems to reward those people who steal because they brought us things. They know that these are things brought in our land when another community has got not even a single tarmac road. People can't go to school. They cannot even have people. Yet we are collecting that tax money into our constituencies. So we have thieves that we are breeding in Kenya. So Ndota is not as bad as the others. Actually, this is a girl who may be very innocent, simply naive, okay? And first time for her, carrying things, because these are important people. We have to carry things for them, because in Kenya, it's bwana mkubwa, ndio watu wanamheshimu. And we don't ask how do they get those, we see them fly in their helicopters. We don't even ask how they got those helicopters, when we know very well there are no business that can help somebody buy a helicopter. We know that. Kenyans know that. Kenyans don't, not like the US and others, where people have got intellectual properties and we know where they're getting from. Even when a Kenyan is blessed, like Mwale, I think it is Mwale, the lawyer guy, I heard Kenyan talking of he must have stolen the money. He did not steal. He has intellectual property that he did something that has allowed him to get that billion that he has. But in Kenya, most of these people that own big things, they cannot explain how they made the money. Okay, so here's Ndota living with the people around her that have so much, yet she did not know how they got this. What would stop this young woman from saying, let me go out there and look for the same thing? Okay, so the culture itself that we've created actually is breeding such people that are going out. Because why would I sit and die? I got nothing here, because whatever I have, if it's little, is taken. If it's a small land, somebody will come and rob me of it. And so Ndota and the rest hear that there is a job in Malaysia, in Arabia, they go. It's because we have created the atmosphere. Unless we correct our system, our politics, unless we do something about our economy and honesty amongst us, and truthfulness and bravery, brave enough to be able to stand for Kenya, unless Kenya means something, I'm telling you, we are in trouble. Kenya has wonderful things, wonderful name, okay? Most of you knew last week I was in Jamaica and got my little bracelet called a Kenya, okay? And people come and stop me, and from Kenya, the runners and all that. So there's something good about being Kenyan. But on the other hand, when all we are doing now is producing thieves, those who are trafficking, and above all, in fact, the worst thieves are the politicians, because we read everything happening in Kenya is read everywhere. So people know potential investors, they look at each nation, what the safe place to invest, crime, all this corruption and others. Those are the indexes that allow them to decide where they put their money. And the world of today is a world of commerce. It's a world of business, a world money moves. There's no way we can be an island. And if investors don't want to come because it's unsafe, because people are not speaking the truth, because elections are not respected, then they don't know whether they're going to keep their money or they're going to lose it. And so what we do here is we chase them away. And then on top of this, then we see our people caught with drugs outside there. Then no one really wants to come. They say Kenya is a great country, but is it safe? And I hear that all the time. How safe is it to go there? What month can I go there? Okay. So, of course, we as Kenya patriot, we say it's a safe place, you can just go. But you know what? They read. So to me, it is sad. Our young lady, clearly is a victim. Okay. In one level, she's a victim because I think this is her first time to go there. On the other hand, is we have created these monsters in our nation, people who will stop at nothing to get what they want. It doesn't matter, who you are, they will come for your stuff. And this is what we are breeding if we don't take care of the nation. Our young people and others that have got nothing to lose, why would you be earning and eating well when they know very well you don't know that money not come from your sweat? You know what? They're going to come for it. The level of anger will increase the point where they'll not let you sleep in peace. So to me, I think this is a wake-up call, daughter issue, and I think she should not be hanged because, one, she's a victim. On the other hand, there are other ways to punish her, rather than killing her. And so I'm with the people that are saying no to death. But Kenya, this is a message for all of us. We are the ones that have created Nduta and actually are the ones who have done this. We are all culprits of such acts because of our failure to have a good governance, our failure to defend and protect good governance, our failure even now to demand the truth, which to me is very simple. Right now, Baba Raila Odinga should be the president, not Ruto, period. Till 2027, then we can make another election, because according to the vote that were given last time, there are people who won, and it's much more clear. We know exactly what happened. Why do we have to leave at 2027 when we can do it now? It's not a private matter where Baba can decide with Ruto what to do. It's Kenyans. And I think we should tell Baba, instead of telling him, make this government with Ruto and whatever, tell them to go to the constitution. Let constitution take, its route, and let Baba form a government, even if it is 1 month or 2 months, to organize the nation so that we can get a better election, when he retires. That's my own stand based on what I'm hearing going around. Back to you, Shadizo.
Thank you, Lala, for that submission. It is great. I want to remind people, everyone, please let us join up the show. The number of people viewing is still low, and we are remaining with very, very, very few minutes for this second segment. Okay, why don't we check more details towards into politics, because we are speak a lot, and then a lot was cooking up, but a lot of we discuss it on Thursday. But what I want you is let us join up the show, share the live, and also invite somebody to be part and parcel of this. Okay, let us take this gear to another level, whereby we will be checking out the dynamics of the government. Let us check out this, and then we'll have the conversation.
The Kenya National Civil Society Centre says Kenyans made their beds by voting for their leaders of choice in the 2022 elections, and they must now lay in it. The civil society group says the working agreement between President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga pulled the country from the brink of anarchy and has termed the deal a vehicle for redeeming the nation. The executive director, Suba Churchill, has taken issue with Kenyans opposed to the broad-based government, saying they had a chance to elect leaders of their choice and that they should embrace the consequences of being under the leadership of those they chose.
People actually are really complaining out here about betrayal, that Mr. Raila Odinga has betrayed the country. Every president who has been there before, and even the sitting one, they have already seen that he has something. It's good we support the broad-based government, and give them time. Give them time to work.
Kenyans, consistently go to the polls and vote in those that we prefer to criticize as soon as they are in office, and leave out those that we think should come to our rescue as soon as the elections are concluded. And so we are telling Kenyans to stop this hypocrisy. Stop the hypocrisy of blaming those that you never gave any responsibility and making those that you gave responsibility appear as if they were angels.
That's how things are on the ground and how things are moving so very fast. Okay, this is one of the major topics that we have tonight. So there's someone saying that stop playing such a like kind of game. Stop playing hypocrisy. Let me begin with the Bernard. Do you think that is hypocrisy, or what can you speak about the speech from the man and the other speeches?
Our country is, I think our country is caught up into convenient narratives whereby if you can use hate to push your narrative and get believers in hate to follow you, you continue digging that hatred and fueling that hatred and painting it so that everybody buys into it. It has become so bad that nobody wants to look at the constitution anymore or wants to look at things from what they would rather say it the way they like to be heard or they like people to know, which is, in my opinion, misguided. Like now, the current so-called Gen Z movement of the campaigning Raila Odinga and making him that the handshake is the problem. Handshake comes from a background of failed electoral system. I will not put my money, my time, my energy to run a presidential campaign, win the election, then the loser is announced the winner, and then you now want to, blame me. How do you blame me from there? So the people pushing the narrative of blaming Raila Odinga for the problems in Kenya, they have they are choosing not to see where the problem is. From where I sit, Raila Odinga has never been president in this republic. He has offered himself 5 times. The Kenyans voted for him, but some people somewhere refused for him to be in power, and therefore he should be left alone. And freedom of association is in the constitution. He should be left alone to associate whoever he wants to associate with, support whoever he wants to support, to do what is required to do. If anybody thinks that Raila Odinga owes them anything, they should come out and tell us what that thing is and which office they gave to Raila Odinga that he abandoned and went to work with Ruto. If they did not give Raila Odinga any office, they don't owe Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga doesn't owe them anything, and they should not use Raila Odinga's name for their hatred for whatever propagation. The issue of betrayal. Who has betrayed who? When Baba was on the street and said, let's come out, let's fight for electoral justice, how many came out? Especially the people of Mount Kenya. They are the ones pushing this narrative of betray. Where were they? When we were on the street, were pushing for electoral justice, they said we are spoiling their businesses. Sisi ni watu wa samaki, sisi ni watu ambao hatupendi maendeleo, tunapenda vita, tunapenda kurusha mawe, tunapenda kudemonstrate. Were we not being betrayed then? When Baba's vehicle was sprayed with 19 bullets, where were they? The people crying right now, betray, where were they? When Baba's vehicle was sprayed with bullets, Upper Arikana on Jogo Road, when Baba was coming from the US, that time Uhuru Kenyatta was president, where were they? The people were killed, were shot at Lens Road and things like that. Now, all those people, where are these people crying right now that Raila has betrayed them? The person that has betrayed Mount Kenya is William Ruto. Why? Because they gave the mandate to William Ruto. Let them put the blame where it belongs. But them turning around and now calling Raila Odinga their betrayer, and Raila Odinga their this and that, is hypocrisy. I agree with that 100%. Raila Odinga has stood for president 5 times. You didn't make him president. Live with the president you have. And if that president sees that Raila Odinga has a contribution and can help him in running the affairs of the country, and he reaches out to Raila Odinga, then Raila Odinga accepts. That is it. And if you think you're better than Raila Odinga, then wait for your call. Wait for your phone call. Tuone kama Ruto atakupigia kuambia njoo unisaidie katika masuala ya uongozi wa nchi hii. Raila Odinga anatafutwa na marais tofauti kwa sababu ana uwezo na ana kile ambacho anaweza kusaidia katika kustawisha nchi na kuhakikisha kwamba nchi inasonga mbele. Sasa hii anaongea kuhusu imbaki miaka 2, wacha tufanye kazi, tutafanya siasa baadaye. Ninyi mmesema hapana, achane na Kasongo akuje kujiunga na sisi. Anajiunga na nyinyi wapi? Kwa street. Anajiunga na nyinyi wapi? Kwa Mnyoro. Huko akijiunga huko nini kitafanyika? Masomo yataendelea, afya itaendelea, agriculture itaendelea. So what you are looking for is a convenience of miserable people looking for wherever misery loves company. Let us be sober as Kenyans and address matters for what they are. Kama hamjanipa ofisi, mimi hakuna kile mnaweza kunidai. Lakini mkinipa ofisi nikatae kufanya kazi, basi mkuje kudemonstrate hapo nje ya ofisi, hata muingie mbebe viti. Kwa nini? Nilipewa ofisi na sikufanya kazi. Lakini Raila Odinga ofisi yake ya hapa Hill anajilipia. Biashara yake anafanya. I mean, Kenyans, tuwache mchezo. Tuwache mchezo. Haswa young people. Don't follow people into their fallacy. Hate has never produced anything better on the planet Earth. And if you are being driven by hate and despising of people who went ahead of you as a vehicle to make you get elected and make you get into leadership, you're wasting yourself. You will only collect curses upon curses. What I encourage Kenyans to do is forget the narrative of betray and focus on what are you doing to help the country. What are you doing to help the country? Ruto must go. We have done Ruto must go for 3 years here. Where has it landed us? It can't be protest every day. A time comes when you retreat, you regroup, you reorganize, then get back into the fight. But this constant fighting 5 years, and then you get a wrong president, then fight another 5 years, wasting time, wasting energy. Now watoto wetu wanakuwa, they are maturing, they will be demanding things from us. So as Kenyans, tuwache unafiki, tutekeleze wajibu wetu. Na kama haujapatia mtu mamlaka, hujampatia ofisi, hujampatia mandate, usitarajie akushughulikie. Hiyo sio kazi yake. Kazi yake yule mtu ambaye anasimamia masuala ya Wakenya wote saa hii anaitwa William Ruto. Yule aliyepewa sword, akapewa constitution na akakuwa sworn in broad daylight according to the constitution in Kasarani. Huyo ndio ako in charge. So akienda atafute mwizi, anapaswa to answer on that. If he puts together an incompetent cabinet, he should be held for that. That is the person to blame. Not for you to blame that why is so and so accepting to work with Kasongo. I mean, who should not work with Kasongo? So hii maswala ya unafiki tuwachane nayo. Na kama mnaona kwamba Wamnyoro na hiyo grupu ingine hao ndio wataleta ukombozi, walete ukombozi tuone. Walete ukombozi tuone. The streets are open. Let them go on the street and see whether they can bring that change they are looking. To me, everybody should take responsibility, rescue this country by doing your little contribution in your own small way. Fundisha mtu, hakikisha saidia mtu kupata ID, saidia mtu kuregister as a voter, sensitize people, fundisha watu umuhimu wa kupiga kura na hiyo maswala. Tekeleza wajibu wako. Lakini ya surura, oh, Raila is a con man, oh, Raila has stolen, has aborted this and aborted that. From where? From which office? Given mandate by who? The support that Raila has is his. It's not for him to be punished for the same. Don't punish people because they believe him, or don't punish him because he's believed. You rise up, let's see if you will be believed. Niliuliza hapa swali juzi, anaitwa nani, Kaido ama Kaido, aliitisha a public holiday the last Monday, hiyo Monday ingine ilikuwa hiyo public holiday will hold. So grow your size instead of blaming another person. So Raila Odinga is free to associate with whoever he wants to associate. Is he right into doing that? I don't know. If he's wrong in doing that, he's also a man like every other man, and so he will make his own mistakes. But blaming him for everything is wrong. Let's blame the driver. We blame the driver for any accident that takes place on the road, because the driver, the one who has the steering, is the one responsible for the passengers, not the conductor, not the passenger. Let everybody understand that if you want to fix this country, we fix the head, we fix the leadership. And the current leader right now is William Ruto. All other people who are playing in the gallery, looking for who to apportion blame to and avoiding to put the blame on the doorstep of William Ruto, they are all hypocrites, and all they want is they're looking for sympathy from the people who want to buy into their hate, like they are full of hate, and they want to perpetuate it and think that they will use that hate to get into leadership. Nobody uses hate to get into leadership and sustains it. Let us be sober, let's be vigilant, let's do the right thing, because it is right and it's the only way that can help this country. Thank you very much. I end there, and unless there's a question, Natoroka.
Okay, let us listen to Lala, even we check out because we're almost coming to an end. Let us listen to Lala first. Lala.
Yes, Shadizo, I concur with Bernard very strongly, for a very simple reason. That is, we now fully believe, for those who did not believe like us, that Baba has been winning the elections. And somebody like Macharia, SK, is a credible character, and he participated in the changing of the figures. He confessed himself. So clearly we knew, or we do know beyond any shadow of a doubt, what has happened. And just as Bernard stated, Baba went out there and won the election. The evidence has been there. Everyone in the country who wanted to know the truth, what really happened during all the elections, don't have to say it more days when things were dark, when everything was opaque, you couldn't see anything. This was a very clear, a process which all of us knew exactly where the problem was. Okay, that technology, whether it is the figures that people knew. So in my mind, when things were so clear, and Baba himself said, no, we want a credible election. Truth must be told. And what happened, as Bernard stated, he went out there, and many people thought we were spoiling their businesses. Okay, they didn't come. They didn't get what some of us got, death and beating and all that. So clearly, Baba did what was needed as a patriot, somebody who loved his country. And so the blame game that we're hearing, I think for some people, it's really lack of knowledge or understanding, being manipulated by other people to accept a narrative that does not hold any water. So Kenyans must know the truth, because unless we face the truth, we are just playing with fire. Okay. So to me, Baba, and I stated here, I think when before Bernard came in, I made it clearly that in my mind, ideally, as able, okay, as Lala, in my mind, the only logical thing that can help the situation even better is for Baba, Kenyans to decide. The decision should be, we want the last election figures to work, to be used now, which means fact that Kenyans know stealing took place, let us restore our nation to where it can respect the law, the election results, and constitute a system. If it means resetting a clock of the constitutional clock, I don't think is something that Kenyans cannot do if they feel like their voice has been taken away from them. That is one way of looking at it. The other, of course, which is Baba and Ruto and others having something that can help us to prepare ourselves in 2027, a system that is functional enough to bring all of us together as we face the difficult moment that we are in, when we know that what we have is not genuine, when we know what we have is creating a distrust of a system that people may not want to trust again, that this time is a time for us to make those changes, those adjustments, those awareness, understanding that can prepare us for the next. Because we can't just expect things to get better in 2027 if we don't deal with what is really going on here. So to me, I think whatever's going on right now, if my understanding is correct, it is really a moment for us to search our souls and begin to do the dirty work that need to be done to clear the clogs, so that when we reach 2027, we will have a system that Kenyans can trust. So those are my two way of looking at it. Baba, based on what we know, to take the government, and that means all those people who have been calling Baba Basiliti and whatever, let them get the bandwagon and say, you are the one who we elected, the president of Kenya, okay? Take over. In other words, this is a mountain. Let them go behind Baba 100%, Rift Valley behind Baba 100%, Nyanza behind Baba 100%, because that is the choice that Kenyans made. And that way, what we are doing, we are putting power in the right person that we elected. So we are saying to the nation that this is what we want for our nation forward. We don't want anything less. We want our election result to be respected. And based on what we know, we are going for the whole thing, even though the time is short, but we must respect the Constitution. So that way, then Baba has the mandate with Kenyans and others to prepare this nation for the next election. Okay? So in my mind, that is the best way to basically get us back on the right track. The one that Baba and Ruto have chosen is another way, that to me is a secondary best. And that is because Ruto is as the power, okay, and Kenyans have court and everybody else agree that he should be there. Baba is saying, I'm respecting that, but he has to know that he did not win. But let us make this joint government, have this system for the time being, while we clean up the system towards the next election. Okay. In other words, we want the judiciary to work. Okay. We want election to mean something. We want Kenyans to be patriotic and respect the law. We want professionalism. In other words, let the law begin to bite and work for us so that we don't create the looters and others who have to go out of the nation. And that's a difficult job. So both scenarios are very difficult, but there's no other shortcut to get us where we need to go. Back to you, Shadizo.
Thank you, Lala, for that submission. Indeed, it's great. And I want to welcome everyone that is watching. Please let us have this shared because the sharing is slow, and I would like to share the video so that we can add up to the number of the good number that we have up to. So I want to sweep something up. I would like to ask Kenyans, please, if the first time coming across the channel, please consider subscribing, share the video to everyone. Please invite somebody to watch every time, because every day we are here from 11 to at least some to 2 to 3 hours. So I will appreciate if you'll be coming up, and also the other shows that will be running up during the day. So I invite everyone so that can be part and parcel of this or make this Kenya goes ahead every time. So I want, as we begin closing up this much for the day, let me hear from Bernard before he cuts away. Bernard, can you give us your closing remarks before you go away?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, as well as for holding up on the show. I want to thank everybody who has participated in the show. Please, let's keep the show running, and of course, do the necessary. Understand a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. As long as you're moving towards the right direction, keep moving. Whether you crawl, you fly, or you wherever you walk to the place, just keep moving as long as you're moving towards the right direction. That is very important. And then also, those of us that are parents, those of us that are of age, let's guide the younger generation in the right way and in the right foundation. Leadership is complex when it is being, vocated for in an atmosphere where leadership is missing. There is a phrase we say that the greatest dilemma our children face today is learning good manners without seeing any. It is very difficult to point out on what is right leadership when we are wanting any credible example of right leadership within our borders. But out there are examples. There is a video I will request Shadiso to play by Rikana Daktari. It's talking about the US aid. It's about, I think, 3 minutes or so. It's among the playlist. Africa doesn't need aid. Africa needs to just be led to do what she's supposed to do, get the resources and use the resources. The interference by the West is a huge impediment to the breaking forth of the African continent and leading the world. And Africa is not going to lead the world now as if it is starting. The leadership of Africa and the Black race has been on all along. We led in civilization, we led in education, we led in establishing system of governance long before the white man came, long before English came. we have to assume that particular responsibility and show the way into the future by reason of us harnessing the resources within us and fulfilling the same. So Kenya is not exempted. Wakenya tukusanyike pamoja, tutekeleze wajibu, tuachane na kampeni za chuki, tuachane na kampeni za ukabila, tuachane na kampeni ya kueneza kwamba chukieni huyu mpende huyu, acheni na huyu mfuate huyu. That is not the right way to go about politics. The incitement, the running down of one another, that's not politics. The really politics is prove that you are better than the other person by your policies, by your ideologies, and by your demeanor, by your integrity. That is what should be. Not to come and tell us so and so, huyo ni mganga, huyo ni mchawi, huyo afai, huyo nini. What about you? Okay? Tukichunguza uchawi wako tutaupata, tukichunguza integrity yako tutaipata. So lazima tuone kama nani anachezea nani anasema ukweli. So tuachane na kampeni ya chuki, tuachane na kampeni ya ukabila, fanye kampeni ya masuala yanayohusu kila Mkenya na tupiganie kila Mkenya. Tuache maneno ya kupigania mlima ama kupigania Western Kenya au kupigania Nyanza. Tupiganie Kenya nzima. Kwa nini? Kenya nzima ikiwa salama, kila Mkenya atakuwa salama. Kenya nzima ikiwa tajiri, kila Mkenya atakuwa tajiri. Kenya nzima ikiwa na chakula, kila Mkenya atakula. Lakini tukiwa na chakula mlimani peke yake, Kenya hii ingine yote itakuwa nini? Itakuja huko mlimani kukula hicho chakula ambacho ni cha mlima peke yake. So tubadilishe nia, tuangazie masuala haya kwa ujumla kabisa, na itasaidia. Lakini hii chuki ya kusema kwa sababu sisi tuko na Kalonzo, tunaweza ongea tu na Gachagua, hatuwezi ongea na Ruto, ama kwa sababu sisi tuko na Eugene Wamalwa, hatuwezi ongea na Wetangula, hatuwezi ongea na Mudavadi. Hiyo masuala yote tuachane nayo. Saa hii pepo tulionayo ambayo tunakumbana nayo inaumiza kila mtu. Uovu ambao unaendelea katika nchi unaumiza kila mtu, including hawa watu ambao tunasema tuwachukie na tupende hawa. So kama unataka kuwa sehemu ya uongozi ambao utakuwa wa future, drop the hatred, leave it behind. Let's focus on how to build the country of love, the country of dignity, the country of integrity, the country where each and every Kenyan is safe and secure. Securing the mountain only will not help Kenya. Securing Western only will not help Kenya. Securing Nyanza only will not help Kenya. Let's fight for all our borders, east, west, north, south. Every Kenyan needs to be safe and secure under the governance of the national government as well as the county government. That is where our energy should be. But this personality politics, where we are now running one person down to pick up another one and run with that person, like what the mountain is telling us. The mountain leader said Ruto anatosha. Okay, now they have turned around and ambia aliwadanganya. Amewadanganya hata kabla mjue aliwadanganya vipi, tena mmeruka mnataka sasa Matiang'i ama mnataka Kalonzo. You're following still an individual. I'm sure you will end up still with the same problem, because mtasema tulifikiria kwamba huyu alikuwa mzuri kumbe pia hakuwa mzuri. So the same scenario with Ruto maybe end up with Matiang'i, or it will end up with Kalonzo. What we need is to forget the personalities and focus on making Kenya better by ensuring that Kenya gets right leaders. Lastly, as we close, I want to remind us that our bills are due. Like our StreamYard bill is already due. We are in the red. So that means it expired on the 16th. Today is what? 19th. We need to pay it as soon as possible. Hii inakuanga $50. VPN, we dropped it. So we need those $50 to pay up for the StreamYard, so that we continue having the show as we're having without having to be in trouble. So tunakuomba kwa mchango wako. We have 21 people watching. Shadizo, you can display details on how to send your contribution. Use those numbers and respond as fast as possible so that we don't need to reapply for StreamYard. If we reapply, it will apply for the new charges which are higher. So let's retain our recurrent bill, which is around $50 monthly every 30 days. Thank you very much. I hope to resume the shows soon. I'm still on medication. Nimeongezewa dawa ingine, but I'm getting better. Soon tutaonana uso kwa uso. For now, God bless you.
Thank you, Bernard. Let us listen to Lala. Lala, as we bring up closing remarks. Lala.
Nilikuwa nasema kwa heri Bernard, enda pumzike. We appreciate you and pray that you get better and feel better, that you can come back to be with us. Okay, Shadizo, did you ask a question or just wanted me to follow up?
Yes, bring up a summary for your closing remarks.
Okay, all right, okay, wonderful. My fellow Kenyans, we come on this channel every day. Many of us come because of our love for our nation. I don't right now live in Kenya, but I go back and forth because I believe that there's no better place than home. No matter how much favor I get over here, opportunities that I have here, but there's nothing like home. And home can only be home if there is this word called peace is available, can be felt at home. Home is where there is love. Hate is not acceptable, but understanding, dialogue, communication, that is effective and that help people know and learn and grow is nurtured. Home is a place where our young people can grow up and to dream and live their dreams, realize those dreams, because it is God's given right, and it is for all of us to help nurture those dreams. Home is a home where we can compete with anyone, anywhere, because we have a backing of home. We are followed, or we are supported. Behind us, there is the 42 tribes that are in Kenya, routing for that one person. And that's what home is all about. When we see things that challenges us as a nation, as a people, then none of us should be comfortable. And that's the reason why I can't be comfortable where I am. I come home. I'm a pastor, okay? A pastor, my job is to help people deal with challenges in life and encourage people to know that God is love, to help them see themselves as blessed, as loved, and nurture, help them nurture that awareness that when we work together, when we hold each other's hand, when we stand as a nation, we will succeed. We win every time. Over the past few months, few years, they are disturbing ton of events in our nation. Of course, they have been there, but because of technology, people have become more aware of what is really going on. And today, discussion on that young woman, daughter, whom is facing execution in a foreign land, must be a wake-up call for all of us. I think if we are honest with ourselves, we must see Nduta, whatever, as one of us. She's not just, I don't know which tribe she is, I don't know, Kikuyu, whatever, but she's Kenyan. Okay, she's Kenyan. Her fate hangs on all of us because we contributed to Nduta, okay, in one way or the other. One of them is we failed to talk and speak the truth. And so where Nduta should have been, things should have been getting, some thieves collected, whether through taxes or through dubious means, but her share of Kenya, to the point where she has to leave Kenya to look for something outside because her space is not there in the nation. The environment is not conducive to nurture her gift and her talents. And therefore she has to leave. And we see many leaving, going to Saudi Arabia, young men and women who have all the skills, all the abilities, but we know when they go there, there's nothing else they do. Those minds are now wasted. They go there to just give a little energy, whether sexual favors or just cleaning somebody's home or old people or tafuta mavi huko na vitu kama hizo. We know that's not what God intends for Kenyans, whom parents have put a lot of resources in to kind of uplift their lives. And that's how we waste them. So all of us are responsible. So when you start pointing finger at that person, please remember those other fingers are pointing at you. We must take this as a collective responsibility so that as a nation, we can exercise these demonic activities that has kept us in cages where our economy is not good. And I shared this yesterday. I hear of wonderful opportunities that may be in Congo, mines, in Kenya, the resources, the hotels and others. But when you watch and look at who benefit from all these resources, they are not Kenyans. They are those that are sitting in Vegas, in New York, in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in London. They are the one enjoying it. Sisi tuko fukara. We may have to carry things for them, go into the mine and mine for them, but those mines do not benefit us because of the poverty of the mine and the condition in which our nation have found themselves in, where you and I are outsiders. Even for some of us who have educated, we don't know how the economy runs. We don't know how things run. We are outsiders looking inside. We talk about Rutus and others, but we don't know the inner working of systems. And then we pretend to be nationalists, we pretend to be the wananchi, the owners of the land, when actually we are not stakeholders in what is going on. I think time has come for us to be able to find out truth and demand to know what is going on. Let's change the system to the point where our young people know what is going on. One of the difference between an American and a Kenyan when they are sick is this. An American will tell you all the drugs, even somebody who never went to school. They know exactly what they are taking and how much they are taking, what the side effects are, and before they even take that medication. And Kenyans will just simply trust na kunywa dawa tu. Even people educated don't even know because doctors said it. So they don't ask questions. And I think that is why we are in this trouble, because we don't demand to know the truth and participate in creating our own system to work for us. So as we end today, Kenyans, we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of things that we must know. And the only way to know it is to come to a site like this one. Let us debate, let us talk, because this is what will create a new system for us when we demand the truth. I'm sorry to say this, I'm much older, but I don't think I've known the work of the government the way I should have known, because I've been kept out of it, like most of us, and that's why we have a dysfunctional system that we think serikali is almost like it is something foreign to us, when actually we are the government. It is our voice. And that's why I like to come to this site, because we are speaking. And not just speaking, we're taking the authority that is ours to demand that what we need to know. And we are learning and causing changes. So welcome other people, let's talk. Thank you, Shadizo. Thank all of you that have been here today. Thanks. Back to you.
Thanks, Lala, for that submission. It is great. I appreciate for those who are watching. I appreciate for those who have made it for the day. I don't have any other compliment, but to appreciate and to thank you. Let us call it, and then let us meet tomorrow, the same place, the same hour, the same day.
You are watching.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye